Hello, this is Tom, the recruiter from Connected Hire, and I'm here with David Lutz and TJ Crawforth from 2G Consulting. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Very good.
Great, welcome. We're here to talk a little bit about RFID. Can you tell me a little bit about what 2G Consulting does?
Each?
So 2G Consulting is a two-guy consulting group of RFID professionals that focuses on professional services. So the installation, solution design, site surveys, any of the professional services that are needed to do a successful RFID deployment.
Got it. What are your favorite things about working with RFID?
Well, I would say probably the immediate efficiencies and accuracies that the customer gains when using RFID over legacy systems like barcodes, especially when we're doing demonstrations for with customers who have never seen or used the technology. Just seeing RFID in action spawns hours of conversations and reveals some very cool things that businesses can do with the technology.
Okay, could you give some examples of some of the unique applications that you've seen?
Well, I won't go into the actual unique applications because a lot of those things are the secret sauce.
Of course.
For our customers. But I mean, RFID is just limited by the imagination, quite frankly. We have tagged everything from people to plants to pipes and everything in between, cars, missile motors, et cetera. So there's a lot of unique things out there. A lot of people still do corrugate, kind of boring boxes and stuff like that. But it's really limited by companies. I guess it's the value add, right? I mean, there's the very obvious ROIs and the accuracies and efficiencies. But it's the value add that they are able to provide to their customer in the supply chain.
It's all about solving a business problem, right? It's can you understand your business well enough that it makes sense for you to know where everything is and to make that investment. It has to fit within the broader business story that you're telling.
Absolutely.
Are there some common misconceptions that you guys have seen about RFID?
Yeah, there are. One common misconception that I've seen, still, even though the technology is decades old, is there's a paranoia about the privacy or the big brother paranoia about RFID, that if someone can read your RFID tag, that they know everything about you, they know everything about your assets and your business, and that's just not true. In the overwhelming majority of applications, the RFID tag is just a license plate number that references back to a database which has all of that secure information. So as long as your database is secure, then all of your information is secure. So that when we hear people getting paranoid about, I don't want RFID on my asset or on my person because anyone can read that tag and know everything about me, we just kind of smirk because we know that's just not the case at all. Dave, what do you think? How do you feel about?
Yeah, I see that's actually the first one probably. The other one is a lot of people confuse GPS technologies with RFID. They think that just because my asset has an RFID tag on it, I can see it real time anywhere on the globe, and that's just not the case. I mean, you obviously have to have an infrastructure to support UHF RFID technology.
That's right. It's a choke point based system. So, an RFID tag, a passive RFID tag, has to be in proximity of a reader to be activated. And then, that doesn't mean you can read it from space. I get back to the big brother comment. You need to be within proximity of a reader to have the tag being read. So you also can't just put tags on all of your assets and then read them from wherever they are in your facility. You need to have strategic choke points plotted out and planned and installed so that you can read the tags as they come near.
I'm glad you brought this up because even every time I post RFID content, there's always someone talking about Book of Revelations, or they've got some comment to make. And specifically with the security issue, like even if you just type in RFID into Google, you'll see all these RFID wallets as the first thing being popped up. So what would you say to someone who is concerned about their RFID from their credit card being stolen? Like even if you're in line and someone had a reader sneaking up behind you, have you ever seen that actually happen in real life?
No, paranoia more than anything. I mean, people share more information on their cell phones than they ever would with, RFID, right? So, and they're doing that willingly. You may be able to read an RFID number from someone's wallet, or that's in the lining of their coat pocket or something like that. But all that references to is a database, and unless the person who's read the tag also has access to that secure database, there's no information actually being transmitted.
That's right. And think about driving your car. You've got a license plate on there. Everyone in the world can see that license plate, but they don't have the access to that database where it's going to get your name and your address and your social security number and those kind of things. So it's just a number.
Got it. You explained it very well. Okay, so have you seen a lot of mistakes being made with RFID technology? Are people putting their money, in the wrong types of technology, or just what advice do you have for people based on mistakes that you've seen?
I would say that's where 2G consulting thrives. We're able to come in and help companies jumpstart their project to avoid a lot of those mistakes that cost time and money. The big one is buying hardware or tags before they've ever done any testing. And that's a big one. Tags are probably the most important part of a good RFID system because there's so many type of inlays out there. There's so many different chipsets. There's expanded memory. People think that just because my asset is 5 inches that I've got to have I need the smallest tag, and they want that small tag to be placed on all of their assets to work in all their use cases. So, a small tag may work great on a conveyor. But if you're trying to go through a large dock door, that small tag may not be read. So, it's picking the right tag. It's not always a one tag fits all system.
Yeah. And tags have different price points, right? So people go for the cheaper tags maybe, and then it ends up being some issue with the...
That's right. Sometimes, Tom. And, the other thing is factoring the big picture. You'll get a group in that will say, well, I've got 30 dock doors and I need 30 readers and 120 antennas. And they don't consult with their internal IT teams or their software teams or their safety or their facilities departments. And then, you get on site and they don't have the switch capacity to support the extra 30 readers. They haven't secured 30 new IP addresses or worked out a new VLAN. They haven't gotten with facilities to make sure there's power, or that power is on a good circuit. So there's just a lot of things that people make. They want to jump right into an RFID project because RFID is exciting. Let's face it, it's super cool. But there's a lot of due diligence and planning that needs to take place before that.
That's right. And to piggyback on that, Dave, one of the mistakes that I see made is people thinking that RFID is the solution, and they hear about it because it's cool, or they went to a trade show and they come back to their management and they say, we need RFID. And then, they try and inject the technology without having a clear defined problem that they're trying to fix, right? So RFID is this cool new technology and we need it to make our lives easier and better. And it can do those things, but we always want to start with a problem that we're trying to solve, not just inject technology because it's cool, right? I mean, you need to have a solvable problem that you're trying to have a defined resolution to, rather than just try and shove a square peg in a round hole. And we see that happen occasionally, where people see this cool new technology and they have to have it, but they don't really know what they're going to do with it.
That's absolutely right, Tej. RFID is a tool. It's a very powerful tool, but RFID on its own is not a solution. It's a part of a solution.
So you talk about solving problems. Can you give us some examples? Is it a theft theft deterrent? Is it, helping salespeople know what's in stock so they know which items to push?
Yes.
What are some examples that stuck out in your mind of problems?
Yes. Shrink in the industry or theft is a big problem right now. They're using, magnetic systems to just say that, hey, I've got something left my store. Whereas in RFID, since you're all serialized, I can tell you that it's a pack of gum that came off of this case, that came off of this truck. But I don't see using RFID to deter theft is the big picture, right? It's managing your inventory. It's accuracy. It's efficiency. If I can count a pallet of goods in a matter of seconds where it was costing my employees, several minutes to count, and then they still got the count wrong because it's the human error factor, right?
Yeah.
And the inventory is everything. If you keep stocking parts that you've already got, you just don't know where they are. Then you're
wasting money.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, the two big things for me that RFID does is it's more accurate and it's faster, right? So, if those are the types of problems that are easy to solve, right? If someone comes to us and says that they're inaccurate because the human error factor, right? People are typing in things, or in some cases they're still using paper and pencil to record where they're locating something in a warehouse when they put it away, and then they're surprised when they find out that 3 months later they can't go back and they're looking for it and they can't find it because it's not where the system says that it is. Well, if their system is a clipboard and a piece of paper, of course it's not going to be very accurate. And the other thing is the speed, right? So, the speed with which the tags are read and uploaded to the system is much faster. It's faster than human. It's faster than barcode because you can read multiple RFID tags at one time, where a barcode is, one-to-one. You have to read them individually. So those are really the easiest problems to solve is if you've got a problem with speed or accuracy. But there are others.
Broadly speaking, what industries do you work in?
I would say all of them, but preferably the ones with the largest pocketbooks. But seriously, probably the best customers are the ones who are involved and will collaborate as a team. My personal favorite, I don't know about TJ's, but my personal favorites are the military. We've worked with every branch in the armed services, work with our servicemen and women all over the planet, quite frankly. And, it's a great sense of pride selfishly, we get to see some really cool stuff with the military. But TJ and I are not uniform military, but it gives us a great sense of pride and accomplishment when we're helping those folks achieve their mission. So it makes us by default a part of that mission.
Yeah. And for me, the RFID, one of my favorite things about working with RFID, you had asked this earlier, is just the wide variety of applications and use cases that we see in different industries, right? So, from retail and e-commerce all the way through to heavy manufacturing and work in process, IT asset tracking, the spirits and pharma industries where they're tracking their high value products. There's a wide variety of industries that RFID is beneficial for. And that's one of my favorite things about working with RFID is just because every week is a new week and a new product and a new customer, and we get to see so many cool different things.
Fantastic. Well, what's next? Do you see any other future applications or, with COVID, how do you think RFID might evolve? Do you just see more of the same, or are there maybe some changes coming to the way the technology can be used to solve problems?
That's a great question. If you think back in 1974, when the first barcode was used on a pack of Wrigley's gum in Troy, Ohio, that was a UPC barcode. So, barcodes have been in the industry now for almost 50 years. And, they have transition from 1D barcodes to 2D barcodes. They used to hold 20 characters. Now they can hold as much as, 4,000 characters or so. But, in that 50 years, you can only do so much with a barcode, right? You can make the barcode better. You can make the etching better. You can make the barcode scanners better and faster. But there's kind of a limit to what you can do with a barcode. And I mean, it's still a line of sight technology. So you think at RFID, which, kind of had its roots in the industry 2002, 2003, 2004 with the Walmart mandated rollout. So, RFID as an industry technology has been around for 15, 16 years. And since that time, we've seen the air protocol standardized. We've seen chips keep getting smaller and smaller and faster and more efficient.
Cheaper.
Cheaper. That's absolutely right. Everyone was worried about how much the cost of a tag was. But now it really is getting to, 5 cents for inlays and even depending on the volume.
Great. Well, pleasure to talk to you guys today. Is there anything else you'd want to share about 2G Consulting before we sign off?
I think, we're capable and available for your RFID needs. If you need someone to come out and do a site survey or help you with a solution design or do some testing, we're happy to do that. We can come out and do a deployment for you if you like. Happy to do any of that stuff in any industry, and you just let us know where you want us to be and when.
And how can people find you?
That's a good question. You can find us on LinkedIn right now, and we're in the middle of developing our website, which should be up shortly. And you can find us at our emails at 2gconsulting.tj@gmail.com and 2gconsulting.dave@gmail.com.
Perfect. All right, guys. Talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for your time.